And that's where we will start. For England fans, it's time to dream.
Dream. That's a powerful word.
Oh, it's in! Unbelievable! A Jude Bellingham overhead kick.
We'll get knocked down many times chasing your dreams.
And the Germans go into the final, and England are out.
Ricardo sends Portugal into the quarterfinals. Saka working it in, left footing shot! It's in off the post! You beauty!
These are more than normal football matches, these are national events.
3 semi-finals in 4 tournaments. That's an incredible record.
Kyle Saka taking 3 or 4 quick steps back. Exorcises demons brilliantly.
I was so proud of it. You know, it takes moral courage to do what he done.
Nobody really wants to see him miss it. And he has it!
More nervous for him than I was for me when I took my second penalty.
Just trying to enjoy this feeling, you know, this being in another semi-final.
And the Dutch are 2 games away from following in the footsteps of the Giants of '88.
We're in another semi-final, we don't want the story to end there.
Let history unfold.
Yeah, England 2 games away from a first major trophy in 58 years, but a lot of the talk this tournament has been about the criticism the players and Gareth Southgate have received for their performances. Let's welcome in SGA Sports Journalist of the Year, Henry Winter, for his thoughts. Morning, Henry.
Good morning, Henry.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Gabby. Very jealous of your meal last night. I've been to Japanese restaurants where the food has actually gone round in a rotation, but not when the guests have gone round.
Yeah, the food stayed absolutely stationary and we went round. It's true. The daftest thing was, Henry, at the end of the meal, is trying to find your way out because the restaurants revolt. You don't know where the exit is. It was crazy. Look, what about the criticism that's been going as far as England are concerned? Gareth Southgate's been a bit defensive about it. We had Phil Foden coming out yesterday. Is this a siege mentality? Do you think that they've been more heavily criticised than England managers in the past?
Yeah, Jeff, apologies. I just lost you there. You were trying to find your way out of a 17th floor restaurant. I mean, my guess is that you went down. Yeah, I mean, I'm apologies for the noise here. I'm in a farmyard not far from where England are training at 12:30 German time this morning before heading on to Dortmund. And it was interesting just seeing your graphic up there. You have Virgil van Dijk and Harry Kane. Harry Kane's actually going to be talking to the media in Dortmund later, which slightly indicates that he is going to start. I know they've been calls for Ivan Toney to start, but I think Tony's made such a brilliant impact when he's come off the bench. Obviously saw, you know, the way he pinned the Slovakian number 6 to create that space. I'm sure Gabby would have enjoyed that little sort of striking reaction. So yeah, it was interesting from the bit I sort of imagined that you were talking about was Phil Foden talking about the criticism yesterday. I mean, Foden's been, you know, the players have mentioned this, but I mean, you know, Gabby went through this with England. Jeff, you've covered England for a long time. Actually, the criticism of England has actually been quite grown up. It's all been football related. It's not been about wags. Yes. It's not been about dentist chairs. It's not been about, you know, I can remember when David James got mocked up as a donkey on the back page of one of the newspapers. It was really personalised back in the day. So you look at it now, and it's actually an intelligent debate. It's a debate about, is there an imbalance on the left? Having got too many number 10s. Is Harry Kane coming too deep? I mean, Gabby, you've been in the eye of the storm with England, but I just think, I'm not saying the English players or South. I think some of the comments about Southgate, and particularly when the fans threw, you know, a few fans threw a few empty beer glasses at him. I mean, that was disgraceful. And to jeer the England manager, when you know how much he cares about England, you know the preparation that he puts in, you know how, 57 times he played for England, heart and soul putting into it, and he's doing that with this team, as Adrian was just saying in your clip there, 3 semi-finals. So, you know, you can have a debate about sort of, you know, does he bring on substitutes too late, in-game management, things like that. But actually, I think the support for the team has absolutely been there.
I think you're spot on, Henry. I feel that, you know, no one's being harsh with their criticism. You know, it's been fair. Foden's not performing on the left, shouldn't be on the left. Can we make a change on the left? Like you says, 2 number 10s, can they get on the ball better? Can Bellingham do more in games? Yes, he scored that outstanding winner. Can Harry Kane stop coming short? Can Harry Kane look more clinical in the box with his runs? You know, can Trippier trying... it's not his game, but he's cutting inside a lot. So all the criticism that they're getting is right. And I think if the players look back and watch the games, they'd say, you know what? Yeah, it's fair. No one's saying... You know, like other countries' media would say, maybe more ruthless criticism of like, you don't deserve to play. How dare he be in the England squad? No one's saying these things. They're all saying things that we're seeing, and we have to be honest, don't we, Henry? Because if we're not, maybe Gareth Southgate would still be playing the same team from the first game.
Yeah, absolutely, Gavin. I don't think it helps the players or the team or Southgate to sort of have cheerleaders just sort of banging the drum when things aren't necessarily going well. And there are issues to raise. And actually talking to my sort of European counterparts out here, the sort of, the foreign media, they've actually been more scathing about sort of England. But you look at Southgate, you look at what he's achieving, you look at the work that England have done on the penalties, 5 and 5. I mean, I was completely calm when England went to penalties the other night because you knew all the work that had been done by the analysts, by the boffins, by everyone back at St George's Park. You knew how prepared that they were going to be. The other thing is, Gabby, this is a genuinely likeable collection of players. There's none of the 26 who you'd say, he's not a great role model. They're all fantastic role models. In keeping with Gareth, you know Gareth, it's in keeping with his principle and his desire for England to be good ambassadors, good role models. And they're all good role models out there. You know, the way they play, the resilience they show.
No, you don't even have to play the game or watch much football to know that why you're playing Trent when you're playing 2 wingers that aren't running in behind. It's not the game for Trent. Why are you playing Gallagher in a game where, you know what, you need midfielders that are going to, get on the ball and make things happen. So the criticism's been fair. So I think Southgate deep down would look and say, you know what, yeah, everyone's right, to be honest. And maybe I shouldn't have made certain selections when they were the wrong ones.
I think what this has been an interesting tournament of is that it's been very much in the heat of social media, and social media over the last sort of year or so has been quite lively. And so maybe the criticism hasn't necessarily come from what you would call the sort of the mainstream media, but players will, because they've got the media comes into their pocket, into their phones. They're not going to the news agents. That they don't necessarily have to pick up newspapers nowadays. If they scroll through social media, they will see memes, they will see criticism, and they will see there's a lot of nonsense there. Also, a lot of quite sort of well-founded debate as you're. But I listen to you guys, and you have sort of totally reasonable, measured conversations, footballing conversations about the flaws and the strengths of the teams. One thing I will say about this team, which is really, really impressed me. There's an iron will in these players. They're strong individuals. We can question some of the sort of tactical elements, but I tell you what, they are a resilient bunch. And when they go behind, they fight.
Just finally, Henry, I mean, look, I'm sure you remember Wembley in '96 very well indeed. All England fans do. England scoring 4 goals. It's the only time we've beaten them in a competitive match, by the way. Are we a bit dismissive of the Dutch?
Well, we shouldn't be dismissive of the Dutch when you look at the way Cody Gakpo is playing, when you look at the defenders they've got in Nathan Ake, Virgil van Dijk. You saw the scenes yesterday in the Dutch camp when Virgil van Dijk was having his birthday. You can see the camaraderie in that Dutch team. They've got a good a manager. You only have to go and look at that Graham Taylor documentary to see the impact that Ronald Koeman's had on English defences and on David Platt and on England before. So absolutely, but that's the good thing about Southgate and this England team is that they will respect this Dutch team, but they won't fear them.
Henry, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Henry. Top man.
Pleasure.
And don't forget, you'll hear if England can reach a second successive Euros final right here live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Make sure you check out talksport.com for Henry's verdict after every England game, and of course also his show with Sean Custis every Sunday morning.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.